How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Sorry, 1-877-DOC-DOLLY. Yeah, I know. It doesn't really sound good when you're coughing. Thank you for tuning in. Obviously, we're watching a very evolving story that's happening since the earthquake. There was an 8.8 magnitude earthquake that happened in the Pacific yesterday, causing tsunami warnings from Japan to Hawaii to the U.S. to South America. And now we have a volcano exploding in Russia, which we were made aware of. So the tsunami waves, we are starting to see waves that have hit California and Washington coast this morning. There was a 3.6-foot wave being the highest recorded in California. Wednesday's earthquake that happened in the Pacific was near Kamchatka, was the sixth most powerful on record. The strongest in the Kamchatka region since 1952, aftershocks of up to 7.5 magnitude expected. To me, 7.5 is a major earthquake, but if it happens after a bigger one, it's called an aftershock. Now, they say it's the largest earthquake globally since 2011. If you remember that, that's when a 9.1 megaquake hit northeast Japan, left 19,747 people dead or missing. Being reported by Daily Mail, now we have the Klyuchevskoye volcano in Kamchatka that has erupted following the earthquake. Images show this explosion, lava descending, and the Russian Academy of Sciences United Geophysical Services said a descent of burning hot lava is observed on the western slope, powerful glow above the volcano, explosions. Now, this is Russia's far east. The volcano has erupted before. Like I said, no surprise, just as Mount Etna in Sicily that erupted last month. It was expected, but definitely the region doesn't need any more climate issues. This the volcano is located 280 miles north of their regional capital, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. And apparently this Klyuchevskoye is one of the highest volcanoes in the world, standing at 15,584 feet. So even though they anticipated the eruption for some time, seeing it happen now, while there's tsunami warnings and advisories is concerning. Now, the good news is the tsunami warnings were being told as of a few hours ago have been lifted for the U.S. West Coast. Even though there's advisories are a step down from warnings. So the Northern California still has a tsunami advisory. So does Oregon, Alaska, and Hawaii. The advisory means there is a potential for strong currents and dangerous waves, as well as flooding on the beaches or in the harbors. Now, a tsunami height of 10 to 13 feet was recorded in Kamchatka. Waves of 2 feet recorded on Japan's northern island of Hokkaido. And then in Northern California, they caught the 3.6-foot one near Crescent City. So it's a good sign that we are, knocking it down now to advisory from warning. We've been watching these live cams of Hawaii and other areas. It was interesting because you saw the water recede, and beaches were a lot bigger than you would expect. And with no surprise, you saw tourists and people deciding to run up to where all the action was happening. I think in Maui, you started to see, or was it Kona? I have to double check. There was waves starting to crash, and now we're getting some higher surf coming all the way above the street. And of course, you have idiots out there, trying to climb walls to get away from the waves, but still watch them and giggle. Yep, water is smarter than you. And by the looks of these people, I think even a leaf is smarter than them. Do not underestimate the power of water. Water sucks you in. Look at just what happened with Malcolm Jamal Warner and the rip current, which we talked about. If there is a rip current, don't panic. You're going to have to swim perpendicular to the shore. Parallel to the shore. Don't try to swim perpendicular. You might not be able to fight it and you might go under. Float a little bit. Tread the water, and then go to your left or right to get out of the rip current, and don't panic. But, as it pertains to tsunami waves, these things, I don't know where the safest water is. So the safest thing to be is not get in the water. Officials in Colombia have ordered complete closure and evacuation of their beaches. Ecuador, also, I guess, under watch. Chile's National Emergency Service has evacuated hundreds of people from their coastal areas. Chilean President Gabriel Boric warned, remember that the first wave is usually not the strongest. Let's act calmly and follow official instructions. Chile ranks among the countries most vulnerable to earthquakes and subsequent tsunamis. Back in 2010, they had that big 8.8 magnitude quake that killed 525 people. And we spoke about how the next big one is supposed to happen in the northeast corner of the Pacific, or our Pacific Northwest. Japan got hit with the biggie, with the whole Fukushima disaster. New Zealand had a big one. Chile. So you have, in the last decade or two, major earthquakes, and the tectonic plate, they're concerned about the upper northeast corner of that, which would land near our Pacific Northwest. So it is a concern with flooding and all that. And I would definitely recommend, for those of you that really, really want to watch this, please go to higher ground. Do not go to the beach. 4 whales were beached in Japan and stranded. You see these footages of these whales stuck because the surf brought them in, but with the water receding, they can't get back underwater and they're beached. They're also disoriented because they're not getting the oxygen they need underwater. 1-877-DOC-DOLLY, don't go away.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi guys, Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme. The solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. Okay, so this, I tell you, what makes media headlines? Apparently, there is a lot of controversy over this American Eagle jeans ad done by Sydney Sweeney, and you guys are going to see it. And I have an issue with the commercial, which I'll tell you. But trust me, if there's anything going on with the tsunamis or any updated news, I'm going to give that to you, because I think that's a lot more important than people debating a jean commercial. I didn't like the jean commercial. I didn't like it. But the controversy that's going on is Sydney Sweeney. She's a good actress. She was in White Lotus and some other things. And she, it's funny. I never really thought of her as attractive because her friend in White Lotus was exquisite. And so you look at her as, okay, well, she was, movies do that. Well, they'll pair you. Somebody will look more attractive when they pair them with somebody not as attractive. But she's actually an attractive girl. And American Eagle used her for this jeans commercial, where in one commercial, she's in her jeans, they're looking down, and she has the camera eyes up here. And then the narrator says, Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. So you're like, I'm looking at the jeans. Meh. I mean, yeah, they look like okay jeans. Mind you, okay, remember, I grew up in the 80s. So here comes Wrangler, and you're one tough customer. He knows what he likes when he sees it. Wrangler. I thought Wrangler jeans were Union Bay. Union Bay was one of my favorite. Guess I couldn't afford Guess jeans. So I didn't really have. I think maybe I had one pair that I might have got as a hand-me-down. I don't know. But yeah, 80s really knew how to work the jeans. So I'm looking at this pair by American Eagle. It could be a nice pair, but the commercial that's drawing a lot of controversy is, I guess, she's kind of rolling around, being very demure in this. And I think she goes, genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. The camera goes to her face and she goes, my genes are blue. And she, flashes her blue eyes. Now, I have a marketing background. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, is this an ad for her? And let's make her look sexy and make, have people look at her butt in the jeans, or is it really a jeans ad? Well, this wordplay with jeans and jeans, some people didn't like. Now, I don't think it's Nazi propaganda. There's a lot of back and forth going, they're trying to say you need to be blue-eyed and blonde and Nazi, and this is what Nazis are advocating for, the Aryan look. I didn't pick up on that. And trust me, having had a lot of family killed by the Nazis, I recognize Nazism when I see it. And no, I do not think the American Eagle ad is a cry for fascism and Nazism. I just think it's a bad marketing. And the idea to wordplay genes with genes, like genetic genes, to me, I don't think is very, very effective. Now, what's effective is everybody's talking about this. So now people are going to American Eagle. Their stock has gone up. Everybody's looking at their site. So maybe that helped. But the concept of you have a beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed woman who's bragging about her genes is just kind of off-putting. It just doesn't flow right. And, for those of us, I was born a blue-eyed blonde. The blonde hair fell out, and then I became kind of a brown brunette, lighter brown brunette, until I had to find Clairol, right, or go to my, hair artist guru, Jerry, to get me blonde again. I'm sure some people kind of feel like, well, I don't, have blue eyes and blonde, and I'm not in my 20s. And also my issue with jeans is jeans aren't very comfortable. I wore jeans most of my youth. I wore them during pregnancy. But the average American now needs a little bit of, shall we say, more elasticity in the waist. I love how they now make jeans that allow some more elasticity, etc. But if I'm looking for a pair of jeans, I want jeans that look good on me, okay? I got a curvy tushy. I actually like my butt. Should be a little smaller, but I like my butt. And so the jeans that they're promoting in this isn't mine. And so what I got out of that commercial is this isn't for me. This is for blue-eyed, blonde, young people who have flatter butts, and they're trying to bring back jeans. And it just kind of seemed like a Sydney Sweeney, let's make her look sexy sort of commercial. And listen, we know Brooke Shields did jeans commercials. People have done jeans commercials the whole time. And I get they're trying to bring back jeans. And if a lot of individuals are like, I don't want to wear jeans, there's other clothes I could wear, trying to bring them back in the 2020s, yeah, you're going to be using influencers, or you're going to be, using individuals who people know, like from the White Lotus hit, and use them in your marketing. It's just, I don't know. The idea that she's kind of bragging about having the autosomal recessive gene that causes blue eyes, which, by the way, for those of us with blue eyes, we do kind of get smacked later on in life, because those with the deep, rich, darker blue or darker brown eyes look younger. When you age, you start to lose your pigment. And so those of us with lighter blue eyes, we age, we look older faster because we lose the pigment that we have. Because you have both brown and blue pigment in your eyes. But as the pigment fades, you'll look older unless you have those deeper brown eyes. So, we do get, some people could say having blue eyes isn't, all that. There's a little bit of a curse with that later in life, but I don't know. My problem with marketing, and now there's this back and forth, is this Nazism? People want to boycott American Eagle. I just don't think it was a good ad. I mean, it was good in terms of causing controversy and getting people to come to the site, but you're alienating people who feel like they don't have good genes. And then what is your interpretation of good genes? Is being a blue-eyed blonde now the norm for having good genes, shall we say? It was just, to me, it was a stupid wordplay. Don't be bringing in genetics. Don't be giving us a biology lesson. You know, my genes are blue. I don't know what the motive was. And so I understand why people are looking at it going, what? And that's my problem with all media. Just like with Stephen Colbert, you're alienating the majority of the country. You know, when you decide to do political humor that's just one-sided, yet your audience, you have to understand your audience. And I get in marketing, you're trying to attract the youth. You're trying to attack males. You're trying to attract smokers. I get that there are demographics. I understand that, especially in radio. But you also don't want to alienate individuals. And when you alienate people, there's one thing to market to somebody. It's another thing to alienate others. And the jeans she was wearing weren't even that, to me, that good looking. Yeah, it's funny how when you look at jeans, I prefer the more 80s style, but I cannot wear the ones that are the hip huggers. I like the ones that are now a little higher up, right? Just because, they give some, what's it called? Control. Oh, it's control top. I like control top. But jeans are going out of style because people are gaining weight. They're not comfortable to wear. The button and the snap can sometimes dig in or cause you to have a nickel allergy. The pants don't breathe. And they give people jock itch, some of these jeans, and chafing. And so people want to be more comfortable as it comes to clothes. And if you really want to bring jeans back, I wouldn't do a biology lesson talking about autosomal recessive traits. I wouldn't just have somebody there that doesn't necessarily represent, how we all look. And I would do a better ad. 1-877 Doc Dolly. Don't go away.
Bubba Wallace here from 2311 Racing. Funny thing about being fast, you end up waiting a lot. First to show up, first in line, then just waiting. Me, I rev up Chumba Casino. With over 200 social casino games, no slow lanes here. Why sit around when you can spin? I'm already racing. Your turn. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for a gift that can actually help secure someone's future? It's Mark Falter's new book, Common Sense Income Strategies. It makes the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using time-tested strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. To learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Secure your future with Common Sense Income Strategies by Mark Falter. Again, to learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635.
In 1-877 Doc Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. So each year we talk about the U.S. News and World Report's annual list of best hospitals. I find that very, very helpful, and we discuss it and we go through it each year. But I am really excited for our next guest. Chelsea Wen is Senior Health Data Analyst, and she's here to actually talk to us about the report, tell us how they looked at these different hospitals, how they accumulated the data, looked at the data. So we're really, really excited to have our next guest. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Wow. Well, it is such a great resource for us. So talk to us about what the U.S. News and World Report Best Hospital Study is.
Oh, yeah, of course. So we rank and rate hospitals based on patient outcomes primarily. So we're looking at each hospital's performance on mortality rates, readmission rates, whether or not the patient is able to discharge from the hospital directly to their own home or maybe to a rehabilitation facility or a long-term care facility. We also look at patient experience as well. And this year we evaluated over 4,400 hospitals across the United States, out of which 13% received a Best Hospitals designation. We also named 504 Best Regional Hospitals across 49 states and 95 metro areas as well.
I love it. And, to determine this, you look at a lot of criteria metrics. Talk to us about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think the ratings are rooted in those patient outcomes, things that people care most about, which, as I mentioned before, is going to be the survival rates, the readmission rates. We're looking at how many patients are experiencing complications after they get their procedure done that make them have to go back to the ED, to the emergency department. And then we're also looking at the number of patients that is being served by that hospital. We're looking at any accreditations that the hospital may have, as well as the nurse staffing levels, how many nurses are available per patient. All of these things go into that evaluation.
It's great. You guys have been doing this for what, like 36 years? I think this is the 36th. It's fantastic. Do you know why you started it? I mean, I'm glad you did, but was there this need? Were patients looking for somebody to kind of do a cross-sectional analysis of everything? What do you think prompted this 36 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think that healthcare is such a personal decision, and it's one of the most important decisions you can make at a very critical time. So we wanted to be able to help people who are struggling with that, trying to make the right decision for themselves or their loved ones. And, our overall goal has always been to empower people to make informed healthcare decisions. And we hope that by providing these very specific ratings for different types of procedures and conditions that are most commonly faced by Americans, we can provide them with one resource that will assure them in some tough times.
We're speaking to Chelsea Nguyen, Senior Health Data Analysis Analyst at the U.S. News and World Report. So what I love that you've done is you've also broken it down into the different specialties. Hospitals can be fantastic, but you want to know, is this going to handle where does it rank on heart bypass surgery or orthopedics or cancer care? So talk to more about the different specialty areas and procedures that were evaluated.
Yeah, so this year we rated 22 procedures and conditions. These are going to cover some of the highest volume, some of the most common areas of care for Americans. So this year we added 2 new cohorts, the first of which is heart arrhythmia, and the second of which is pacemaker implantation. But other than that, we evaluate many heart-related conditions and procedures, such as heart attack, heart failure, stroke. We also evaluate several orthopedic procedures, such as hip fracture, hip replacement, knee replacement, back surgery, and lots of different cancer surgeries like prostate cancer surgery, lung cancer surgery. So all of the ratings are very specific to the procedure or condition, and that I think allows patients to more easily navigate them and find something that is relevant for them.
Right. And that's what my listeners, they look at this and they go, this is great because we have, some guidance. How should Americans use these lists, as it pertains to their health care, especially if I don't think my hospitals in Nevada ranked again this year, and so, for those individuals that might not get to be near Mayo Clinic or Sloan Kettering or, what's the best way for patients to proceed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think I want to emphasize that even if a hospital isn't, number one in the nation or number two in the nation, it doesn't mean that they're not providing exceptional care, because we still have hospitals across the entire United States that are achieving these high-performing ratings. And we also name best regional hospitals as well. So best regional hospitals are those that are providing really excellent outcomes across a wide variety of services. So, as you mentioned, in Las Vegas, there were 2 best regional hospitals named in the Las Vegas metro area. So even though they didn't have like number 1, number 2, whatever, they are number 1 in Las Vegas. So, for example, Mountain View Hospital in the Las Vegas area received 14 high-performing ratings across the procedures and conditions in areas like colon surgery, diabetes, COPD. We also have St. Rose Dominican Hospital, the Siena campus that did really well this year and received that Best Regional Hospitals title. So for anyone who's looking at the website, which is www.usnews.com, it'll be easy to search by the metro area that you live in, or you can search, there's a search bar tool on there. So if you're interested in a specific procedure, you can type in something like prostate cancer surgery, and you can type in your zip code, you can type in your city, and it will show you all of the hospitals that meet that criteria. And if they have a high-performing rating, regardless of if they have a numerical ranking, you can trust that that hospital is going to provide a really great outcome.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Shout out to a lot of these. I'm really impressed with the list and who made the list. Also a shout out to Renown in Reno, Nevada, too. Very good hospital. I trained there when it was under different ownership years ago, and it's actually really made a good name in northern Nevada. Where can our listeners, one more time, go for more information?
So our website is www.usnews.com/hospitals. That's where you can find all of the lists. It's where you can search for hospitals by the procedure that you're interested in. And it also has a copy of our methodology. So if you're interested in exactly what goes into the methodology and the rankings and ratings, you can see all that information there.
Love it. Chelsea, we are so appreciative. Can't wait to have you back. And thank you for all you do.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. Yeah, I do recommend that there's even a best hospitals honor roll. There's it's even children's hospitals. They break those down. The best children hospital for specialty care. Your medical provider and you do have a lot more choices than you think. And if you feel like you want to get a second opinion or get more specialized care, a lot of times your doctor can work with your insurance company to be able to get you to the place you need. 1-877-DOC-DALI. Don't go away.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Dr. Daliah here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Hey guys, it's Clyde. You know, we've had a lot of requests for Ground Zero merchandise, so we put together an online store with a big variety of high-quality items. I'm really excited to let you know about these things. We have a lot to offer you and your loved ones. In addition to our regular apparel, such as t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and hats, we've expanded our product line with posters, flags, aprons, mugs, and a whole lot more. We also have Ground Zero collectibles, along with a limited edition of items like a Clyde Lewis canvas portrait, a Ground Zero embroidered jacket that will certainly make for great gifts and for interesting conversations with family and friends. And we now offer publications such as Ron Patton's book about mind control, MK Zine, and back copies of the official magazine of Ground Zero while it was in print. Paranoia, the Conspiracy Reader, also coming in 2023, are updated and revised books that I've written. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. So shop today at our official store by going to groundzeromerch.com. Again, that's groundzeromerch.com.
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here, and you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
Order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Doc-Dali, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So I just, I'm still a little confused by when people are applying for jobs, they are asked to reveal their sexual preferences, their sexual orientation, their sexual acclivities, and we're talking about a job. Now, we're not talking about a job in porn. We're not talking about a job in prostitution. We're talking about a job like in academia to teach students or to, other jobs as well. I had posted, I've been offered some academic positions, and in one application process, I got the following. I'm not going to say which academic institution, but I received this a few years back, and looks like they're still asking the same things, despite all the changes that have been now done in terms of giving people privacy, and not necessarily hiring based on your color or your sexual orientation. But these questions I was asked to answer. Some of them I understand, but one I'm kind of confused by. So they say, please answer the following questions in order to move forward in the process, implying my application will not move forward if I don't answer these questions. Okay, I'll answer them. You want me to answer them? Once you have selected your responses, click OK. Note, after you submit your selections, you will not be able to change your responses to the questions. Now, the first question was your gender identity. Which of the following best represents how you think of your gender? All right, do you think of yourself as male? Do you think of yourself as female? Although they say you can't change your responses. So what if you're gender fluid? What if then, somebody has to commit, but what if they don't want to commit because they're gender fluid? They then say, which pronouns do you use? And I understand. So people don't feel represented or I forget the word for when you use somebody else's, wrong pronouns. What pronouns do you prefer? Because, yeah. So they ask that. But this next one is your sexual orientation. They say, which of the following best represents how you think of your sexual orientation? It also only allows you to pick one. So they offer asexual, bisexual, pansexual, fluid. So if you're sexually fluid or gender fluid, you might at one moment feel straight, another moment feel gay, or you might feel female, one male. Gender fluid or sexuality fluid suggests that you're not committing to one. Yet you have to choose one and only one. And you're not allowed to change your responses later. That doesn't make any sense. And this is a part of an application. This is 2025. Are you gay, heterosexual or straight, lesbian, queer? And then there's other options. Now, you do get to choose, I prefer not to answer, which I think they have to have that option just in case somebody's like, look, if I want to be with men or women, that's kind of personal. In fact, it's interesting. I remember being told in the 90s, do not bring up sex and who you sleep with at the interview. So I love my husband. I sleep with my husband. I don't really think my future employer wants to really know about my sexual plans or orientation or what I want to do with my husband. We kind of leave the sex out, especially if this is a teaching job. Why do you need to know if I'm straight or gay or fluid or pansexual? Why do you need to know? Now, where I think this hurts the LGBTQ AI plus community is this sort of filtering of applicants used to happen decades ago, and I think I still do, by individuals who may not want to hire somebody LGBTQ AI plus. I mean, what was it? Bill Clinton said, don't ask, don't tell. People felt fearful of retribution if they admitted that they were something else besides straight, if they were lesbian, homosexual, asexual, bisexual. And so now you are putting this on your application. They say you will not be able to change your responses. Why is what I do in the bedroom your business, especially if I teach? Unless you are afraid of something I might be and misinformationally or misguidedly thinking that I'm not going to be a good teacher if I'm gay or gender fluid or straight. Why would you ask that? Plus, it shows that this academic institution doesn't understand what gender fluid is or what sexual fluid is. Not the actual fluid, but the fluidity. Because you're asking us to only choose one, and you're telling us that we can't change our answers. So it actually shows that they're not really understanding. And one thing that I hear from LGBTQ AI plus community members all the time is they do not want to be stereotyped or identified or characterized based on what they do in the bedroom. You have doctors and teachers and Department of Transportation secretaries and officers and firefighters and academicians who should be known for who they are and what they do. But there's this obsession with where your private parts lead you. Now, I get if you are concerned about a sexual predator and you are teaching young kids, so you are asking, have you ever been arrested or accused or convicted of a sexual predator or a child predator sort of crime? But why are you asking about who we sleep with and how we orient? Now, the reason why is somehow the hiring process changed to where they wanted to look like they weren't discriminating for somebody who could be gay or lesbian or asexual or pansexual or queer or fluid. The choice is given so that they could say, look, we asked you, you told us what your preferences are, and we hired you. So you see, we're not anti-asexual. Somebody's asexual, that's kind of private. If you're straight, that's private. If you're gay, that's private. Because sex is supposed to be private. The reason why you get arrested for having sex in a park or having sex in a public place is because sex is supposed to be private. So why do we still see applications asking for who we want to sleep with? And what really worries many communities is that they can't be LGBTQAI plus without the sex part being so pivotal in how the world sees them. Why can't somebody, they'll be with who they want to be with in private? And so my concern is you still have these companies that are asking for your private sexual orientation. And that could be used against somebody, especially if you end up having a bigot later. I think sex needs to be kept out of the workplace. Especially if it's a school. 1-877 Doc Daliah, don't go away.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for an easy read that can actually help secure someone's future? Pick up a copy of Mark Falter's book, Common Sense Income Strategies. For the past 30-plus years, Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. It's not rocket science, it's a pretty easy read. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. Common Sense Income Strategies is available now on Amazon or by calling 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Common Sense Income Strategies by financial fitness show host Mark Falter. Secure your financial future today.